every once in a while, I get the urge to break out my Xbox 360. Take a trip with me down memory lane as we look at the 360 today and see if it's really worth playing in 2026, and is it even better than we remember? I saw recently that the Xbox 360 officially turned 20 years old this past October. And it really got me thinking, that was really like a golden age for gaming. For me anyways. I've kind of had my consoles, like my Xbox One and my Xbox 360, pretty much stashed away ever since I got my PlayStation 5. And the PS5 is great, don't get me wrong, but also at the same time, I don't feel the same way playing it like I felt with my Xbox 360. I mean, obviously I'm older now, much older than when I was playing my 360, so that is obviously a huge factor into why that probably is. But I think there's something to be said about that era of consoles. And so I wanted to revive my 360 because I didn't want to see it in the cabinet anymore and I want to use it. Nostalgia is without a doubt a big reason why I want to revisit and revive my 360. It could just be me looking at the past with rose-colored glasses, but for me, the 360 was such a special time in gaming that I find it hard to believe that it wouldn't be fun to at least play it today. Nostalgia to me for this console looks like this. Watching the Gears of War 3 trailer for the first time and getting super hype about it. Watching a ton of phase videos and montages, and then participating in clans and trick shotting and sniping and getting on Xbox Live parties and partying up for a full 6-man, spending hours customizing your personal avatar and listening to that iconic, legendary, just background music. Does anyone remember those Netflix avatar parties where you could party up with a friend and both of your avatars would sit in the theater and you could watch like a Netflix movie together? Raging on Gears of War. I mean, every time I think about playing Gears of War, I always think, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much fun. And then I get on it and I'm like, I'm not cut out for this game. And I still play it. It's strange. HD PVR, does anyone remember that? Is that just me? Who remembers, what was it called? It was like a really, really, really cheap video game capture card. That's what it was called. The Dazzle capture card. I remember that was before HD PVRs were super popular. If you had a Dazzle card, you were like one of the OGs. You were like one of the first people to start capturing your gameplay and sharing it on YouTube. Wow, I'm old. And there's so much more. There's so many different memories that I have on the Xbox 360, as I'm sure some of you also have. And I think what made the Xbox 360 so special was, yes, the games were amazing, but I think Xbox Live and the community aspect at the time is what made it feel so special, is that everyone felt so connected and there was a really live community. That makes me want to revisit it today. But when you really think about it, that's all in the past now. And so once you actually get on the console, what is it like? And is it really worth revisiting in 2026? Because thinking about the past can make you initially boot up the console or even buy an Xbox 360, but if you're not actually playing it, then it really doesn't hold up. And that's what I want to see. I want to see, does the console hold up in 2026? Like I was saying before, a big part of what made me love the Xbox 360 is the online aspect. Xbox Live is legendary. The community aspect and Xbox Live in general just, I felt like, brought people together, It brought friends together. So all that being said, you might wonder, how does Xbox Live function today? Well, just to get this out of the way, connecting to Wi-Fi was almost impossible for me. I have Xfinity internet, but I think it stems from, the issue stems from me not having a compatible router, because the Xbox 360 uses a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi signal, and I have both options. So I have 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and I've done everything that you could possibly do to make sure that the Wi-Fi that I was getting on the Xbox was matched to the correct frequency. But I've tried everything. literally to no avail. I just couldn't get it to connect. The only way that I could connect online is by using an Ethernet cable, which is fine because honestly, the Ethernet cable is going to give me the strongest signal. But if you don't have access or some limitation between having Ethernet or not having Ethernet, it might be an issue to try and connect to Wi-Fi. There's a ton of videos. I'll try to leave some in the description just to show how you might troubleshoot some of those issues, but I've tried everything. It didn't work for me. The only thing that worked was using an Ethernet cable. Also, despite the fact that the Xbox Live Marketplace is shut down, you still have to play for Xbox Game Pass Essential if you want to play online and connect on Xbox Live. Xbox Essential, I think, is around $10 a month. You do get access to some games, although the library is pretty limited. It's like a little bit above 50 games or something like that. You still have to pay for it if you're looking to play Xbox Live just regularly. Now, the question is whether or not it's worth paying for the online service. Like I said before, the Xbox Live Marketplace is now shut down, so you can't access the marketplace at all. And as time goes on, you can kind of see that the support for servers is slowly getting smaller and smaller. So I did get Xbox Game Pass Essential, and so I wanted to see what games can you actually get connected online and still play today with relative ease on an unmodded console. So some games you might want to just hop on and play would be like Halo. Halo, unfortunately, is not supported on the 360 anymore officially, and so you can't just hop online and go into a matchmaking lobby and just get connected with other players around the world. The servers are not supported anymore. Battlefield. This one was real sad for me because when I got Game Pass Essential, I didn't even search up whether or not Battlefield was still playable on the 360, but it's not. You can't play Battlefield 3, you can't play Bad Company 2, you can't play Battlefield 4 on the 360 anyways, which is unfortunate because Battlefield 3 is probably my favorite Battlefield game to this day. But again, those are servers that were provided by EA, and so at some point EA just decided it wasn't worth supporting anymore. From what I hear, you still can play those games if you are on PC. The newer Call of Duties that were released on next gen as well as the 360 aren't really populated. So if you're trying to play like things like Call of Duty Ghosts, you're probably not going to find too many people playing that. And it's really difficult to find a match. That's also a next gen release. And so it's the people who would be playing it, if they're not playing it on the 7th generation of consoles, playing on like an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. But there are still games that are still supported and the servers are still online that you can play today. One that was a lot of fun that I honestly wasn't expecting for some reason to still be up and working was Left 4 Dead 2. You can still play Left 4 Dead 2 online and it is still as fun as I remember it. Pretty much everyone that's playing it now seems like it's a pretty tight-knit community. It's definitely worth revisiting because Left 4 Dead was one of my favorite games on the 360, the first and the second, but the second was probably the better one of the two, I think, especially when it comes to online. Left 4 Dead, I think, is probably my favorite zombie game, even to this day, honestly. I still prefer playing Left 4 Dead. The gameplay is it's just something that we've never had since. You can also still play Gears of War. You can't play really the first one, but Gears of War 2 you can still play, and Gears of War 3 is very easy to play. I honestly can just find a match just by searching for one on Gears 3 relatively easily, although anyone who's still playing that game, be prepared for the sweat, you know what I mean? Remember that thing I was talking about earlier? I was like, Gears of War is always one of those games that I think, oh, that would be so much fun to play right now. And then I play it, and then I'm like, this is not as fun as I remember because I'm getting destroyed. But if you can withstand just being destroyed like for a while, it will get fun. It always does. But like hopping on Gears of War for the first time after being off of it for such a long time, you know what I mean? You're just bait for the enemy. But if you can get through that, then it's also fun. On top of that, the single player is great, so you don't have to play online. But if you want to play online, you can. Some of the biggest Call of Duties are still popular, and I think a big reason why is because Xbox Game Pass made those games backwards compatible, and so that increased the player count than just to people who only have the 360. And thankfully, Activision still has up and working servers, so you can still play online. So you can play Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, you can play World at War, and you can play Modern Warfare 3. Out of all of them, you're gonna have hackers on it, and so just be prepared for that. There is a lot of hackers on games like BO2 and MW2. In my experience, from what I've played so far, I think the game that has had the least amount of hackers has been BO1. And honestly, I think out of them all, surprisingly, has been the most enjoyable to go back and play. Modern Warfare 2 has been fun, but there are a lot of hackers on MW2, which is to be expected, right? You know, the game is very old. And so for me, whenever I've gotten into like a hacked lobby, or it's just not fun, or someone's aimbotting, or whatever the case is, I'll usually just back out, try to find another one. There's enough people on it that you can find another lobby that isn't hacked. So you just got to be kind of patient if you're looking to play something like MW2. I have been matched in BO2, but it's kind of like a similar situation to MW2. Very easy to hack on BO2, so there's a lot of hackers. Grand Theft Auto 4, surprisingly, you can still play online. There's not a lot of people online from what I've seen, but I'm sure if you get on the right time of day, you can find a good amount of people playing online. And that one's surprising because honestly, I didn't really play that much GTA 4 because when I got my console was towards like 2010, 2011. And so it was just past the height of, you know, when everyone was playing GTA 4 and everyone was kind of gearing up for the next Grand Theft Auto. But from what I've experienced, it's not a ton of people that you'll get matched with. And so just something to know, but you can still hop on it. Now, I know that we said that Halo doesn't have any supported online servers anymore, which is true. You can't just hop online like you would have back in the day, but you still can play multiplayer. There's a special community out there called Halo Sunrise, which is basically a Discord in which it's a community that everyone parties up and they'll play games together. So if you want to play Halo, like Halo 3, Halo Reach, you still can do that, but you do have to kind of work around the fact that you're going to have to try and party up with everyone that's in that Discord. And from what I've seen, everyone's pretty chill and really nice. They just want to keep the community alive, and that's really nice to see. It's honestly unfortunate that the Halo servers are not supported anymore regularly, because that was one of the games I was the most excited to revisit, but unfortunately it's a little bit more difficult to play. It's still possible, but it's not as simple as just, you know, putting in the game, searching for a match, and getting in the lobby. I think the silver lining of all of the Call of Duties from what I've seen is Black Ops 1. I've experienced the least amount of like aimbot and hacking and modding and everything on Black Ops 1, and so feels like the most vanilla experience Call of Duty that you can get, just hopping on an online match. And surprisingly, it's got a pretty great player base. Like every time that I've gotten on BO1, it's very easy to find a game, like very easy. So besides Xbox Live, another reason I wanted to revive my 360 is because the 360 has become increasingly easy to modify over the years. Now, we've gotten to the point where soft modding is a lot easier and pretty much accessible for anyone who just has the time and patience to do it. And you don't really need much to do it. All you need is a computer and a USB. A big reason why I wanted to mod my Xbox 360 is because I've considered trying to go the emulation route like on PC, but unfortunately right now from what I've seen online, Xenia and Xbox 360 emulation hasn't gotten to a point where it's really seamless and mostly reliable. And so the best way to experience these 360 games now is really one of two ways. Playing it on the original 360 or playing it on like the Xbox One or Series X with Game Pass. Exploits like ABadAvatar will allow you to exploit the system on your 360, effectively allowing you to run unsigned code, kind of like an RGH modded console, but you don't need to solder anything, and it is essentially reversible because all you need is a USB stick, and as long as that's plugged into your console, you can run the exploit, but the minute you take it out and restart your console, it goes back to being a regular 360. Running this exploit will essentially allow you to run things like Aurora as a dashboard, which will allow you to launch games, download assets like cover art, and allow you to browse your library of games. Also does a couple things that you can't do with the regular dashboard, like you can monitor your console's temperatures, so you can see like your CPU temperatures, graphics temperatures, which kind of gives you an idea whether or not you really need to open up your console and do things like put new thermal paste on it or really go in and clean that thing, because it's got dust in a lot of it probably, especially if you're running really high temperatures. So you don't really get to see that information when you're running on the regular 360 dashboard. One of the big reasons you'd want to run this exploit to begin with is because this will enable you the opportunity to play backed up ISO files. Just as long as you're able to get a hold of them, you can get them to work. But you can only do it if you're running an exploit or you have something like an RGH console. And being able to play these backed up ISO file games is a workaround for the shutdown marketplace. You can play your own backed up ISO file games, and in no way am I condoning anything, okay? This is just information. I'm not condoning anything. That's all I'll say about that. Now, you can't literally just play the ISO file. You do have to go through a process of extracting those files to be able to play them, but it's very easy and very doable, and it will give you the opportunity to play some games that you might otherwise not have been able to play, whether it be for the Xbox marketplace shutdown, or it could be your physical game is, like mine, experiencing CD rot or disk rot. If you don't know what that is, this is what it looks like. Here's the bad thing about disk rot. Once it happens, even if you have the game installed on your console, originally standard like you would back in the day, that was a way that you used to be able to bypass if the disk got really scratched or was very hard to read. As long as you had the physical disk and you installed the game on your console, it would read something on the disk to essentially register that you do own the game and you can play it. But with disk rot, which I've had on a couple of my games, it does not do that. And so even if you have installed the game, your game, it will not read it. And therefore, you cannot play it, because an installed game, you can't just play without having physically put in the disk and the system reading, hey, you have the disk, you can play this game. That means that physical media, while it is great, and I love physical media, archiving these games has to go beyond just physical, because these disks, they break easily. I mean, I had like 3 copies of Black Ops 1. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, Black Ops 1, that game constantly, I always broke. And I think a big reason why, potentially, is the casing. The casing, like that small center button that you're always supposed to press, always broke the center of the discs. So there's always like a line that recedes into the disc, which always affected whether or not it was read. And then on top of that, they're now getting disk rot. So back up your games. And the thing is that you can still back up your games through the Aurora dashboard. That way, if you do have a physical copy of your game, you can install it, and then you'll never have to insert it in your console again. So it goes beyond just being able to play an ISO file or an extracted ISO file. You can take your games and you can archive them so that you can play them even if the disc has any issues, which is great for longevity and archiving, because some of these games we'll never see again, you know? And if you're into collecting physical media, you'll know there is quite a lot of games that are very high in price. For example, X-Men Origins, Wolverine. That game's expensive if you want a physical copy. Another one, Need for Speed Most Wanted, classic, top tier game. I think it's going for like $100 now if you want a physical copy of it. So yeah, you know, if you own that game, probably best to back it up. Yeah, I would just do it while you can. And having something like this ABadAvatar exploit allows you to be able to do that. And so it's just, honestly, it's very just convenient. Now, another thing with ABadAvatar or older ABadUpdate is you can play with stealth servers. I have not really toyed around with that because it's a little in depth. Maybe I'll do it in another video, but I haven't really played around with stealth servers. But essentially, a stealth server will allow you to play online. You can get matched with other people who have modded consoles, and you can also play Xbox Live, which is otherwise blocked if you have this exploit running. And so that is something you can do. That's not something I've done. I've pretty much just run this exploit when I'm trying to play single player games. A big reason why I haven't run any of the stealth servers or anything like that is because while a stealth server is a really great way to avoid getting your console banned, it's not 100%. And if you do play online, you can get your console/account banned, which means you can't play on Xbox Live. I don't want to do that because most of the games that I want to play on Xbox Live, I already have the physical copies for the game and already paid for Game Pass Essential just to play online. And so it doesn't really make sense for me to run the risks. And also, I'm not trying to use any of the mods or anything like that you could do. Please don't go online and just ruin the lobbies, right? Because you're going to get in these lobbies you're gonna start modding, you're gonna start running these, you know, different things like aimbot, right? And we're all trying to relive the glory days. We're all trying to get on and play just as we remembered it. And unfortunately, because it has gotten so much easier to mod, it's very easy to ruin that for some people. And so if you're doing this, if you're gonna do this, don't ruin it for everyone. Who am I? You're gonna do what you wanna do anyways, right? So, but if you wanna keep the community alive, just don't ruin it for everyone. You know what I mean? If you want a 360 today, they're super cheap. You can get one on eBay from anywhere from like 70 to 150 bucks if you're looking in the right place. I would recommend, if you're trying to get a 360 today though, that you get the slim version. I wouldn't get the original like white version, or even the there was one that came out right after it that looked exactly like it was the same shape and everything, but it was black. I wouldn't get either of those because they had red ring of death issues, and the slim was just a lot more reliable. So I definitely would get a slim. That's what I have. So in short, is it worth revisiting today? For me, the answer is simple. Yes, very much yes. Because of this exploit, you have access to some of the best games from the 7th gen of consoles and the 360 exclusives that came out at the time. And it's also still fun to play online. Although the online community in Xbox Live isn't the same as it once was, you can still get on and have a lot of fun. It's still fun to play games like Left 4 Dead 2 online. And it just reminds me of like a golden era of gaming. And honestly, at this point, I'm still surprised that you can still play online, especially with the fact that they shut down the Xbox Live Marketplace. I'm still kind of shocked that you still have to pay for Xbox Live, and that when they shut the marketplace down, they didn't just make it free. But it's not surprising, I guess, you know, but still, you can still hop on and have a ton of fun. And if you can get a group of friends together, some of the OGs, it's a fun time. Despite this console being 20 years old, there's still a very lively community that wants to keep it alive. And that's heartwarming to see. And it's nice to see that it's still up and running. I don't know how long that's gonna be, you know, so we gotta enjoy that while it lasts. The only thing that can make this console even better is just being able to experience Xbox Live as it was back in the day. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you want more like this. What was your favorite thing from the 360 era? What was the most memorable moment for you? Leave a comment. I want to hear about it. Am I alone? Am I just, you know, talking to the void? Am I the only one that feels this way? I don't know. You let me know. But until next time, stay safe and have a great day. Bye.